everyone, and welcome to my Hip Hop Super Easy Chinese lesson where I try to teach you things that the textbooks don't. My name is Alix Tsai, and I have a bachelor's degree in learning Chinese as a foreign language. Today we're going to talk about how to talk to your hairstylist in Chinese. This is especially beneficial for those of you who are living in either Taiwan or China and need a haircut. Or need to, want to get your hair done in some way and are a little bit apprehensive because I just thought of this because I got my hair cut yesterday and I love my hairstylist and I've been going to him for a while, but then I started thinking, like, I remember back when I first came to Taiwan and I was terrified to have my hair cut. To the point where I even cut my hair myself, which I have no training at all. And I've been here, I guess, for 5.5 years now, so I have no fear at all with talking to people or talking to my hairstylist in Chinese. But for those of you who are in Taiwan or China and want to get your hair done and are a little scared, this is the perfect video for you. Otherwise, if you're in the States or somewhere else and you just are curious how to say it and want to learn some new Chinese, that's awesome too, because a lot of these vocabulary words are words that you can use at other places, not just the hair salon. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. First of all, let me talk about how this course is going to be. The beginning is going to be, we're going to talk about vocabulary. The second part, we're going to do some character breakdown and look at the vocabulary one at a time and maybe talk about the radicals in the vocabulary. And just kind of, sometimes I like to learn a little bit or talk a little bit about Chinese culture and history through the characters. And then lastly, we will do some sentence building where I'll make some sentences with these. And then in the very end, I do like to do like a little script using these words, and I do preferably like to speak faster. And sometimes I don't put subtitles on the bottom, and if I don't let that freak you out. If you don't understand 100%, that's fine. Your goal is to practice your listening skills, and so you're just going to try and listen for those vocabulary words that we learned in this episode. So you don't have to learn or listen and understand 100%. Just kind of listen for those vocabulary words, and that is a really big part in learning your listening skills. Okay, so let's start now with the vocabulary, which I will put here. There are 15 vocabulary words. And if you know all these vocabulary words already, this might be too easy for you. If you know some of them or don't know any of them and want to learn them, then this is the perfect video for you. So what we're going to do is learn one at a time, and I will say them out loud and you repeat after me. Okay? 头发设计师 头发设计师 That is a hair designer or a hairstylist. 预约 to make an appointment. 修一修 to get a trim. 剪头发 to get a haircut. 洗头 to wash your hair. 染 to dye or to dye your hair. 亮点 highlights. 护发 This is like a deep conditioning treatment. 烫卷 to get a perm, a curly perm. 烫直 to get your hair permanently straightened. 层次 layers. 刘海 bangs or fringe. 绑起来 to put your hair back. or put your hair up. 吹风机 hair dryer. 夹指 to straighten, like straighten your hair. Okay, so those are our vocabulary words. Let's go ahead and break these down one at a time. Okay, let's start with the first word, 头发. 头发 is the hair on your head, which is different from, let's say, something like the hair on your arms. The hair on your arms is called 毛. And I get this mixed up. Well, I used to when I first came to Taiwan. I would get this mixed up so much and call the hair on my arms or the hair on like other parts of your body, I would call it 头发. And they would laugh at me because it's very different. So 头, of course, is your head. So 头发 is only the hair on your head. And if we look at that character for 头发, 头, on the right side of that character, there is a, like, it's actually a 叶, the 部首. And that 部首 often means your head or your face, okay? And then 发. Do you see the 3 strokes on the upper right? That means the strokes of hair, basically. So that's how you can remember that. The 3 strokes means like hair. Okay. Now 设计师 just means designer. So you will, as you keep learning Chinese, you'll come across that word a lot. So you can have like an interior designer. You can have like an app designer, and those are all 设计师. So we like to say hair designers, 头发设计师. Okay, and those are the ones that you're going to want to go to. Because if you just go to some random hair cutter, they might not do a good job, especially for you if you're a foreigner. So go to the 头发设计师. All right, next word we have is, okay, the next one is 预约. This is important if you found a 设计师 that you like and you want to call him and make an appointment, or you can even use Line if you're in Taiwan and text him. You should 预约, otherwise you're gonna end up with somebody that you don't know. And for me, I like to stick to the same person every time. So to 预约, we can even talk about like how you would do that on the phone if you'd like. But yeah, basically it's just the same thing as in the States. But let's look at that character. So 预 means in advance. Okay, so you'll see that character also with 预习. It means to look at your materials, for like your study materials, in advance. Now 约 just means to make an agreement or an appointment. I don't really want to break down these characters, but if you just know that 预 means in advance, that's all you need to know for that one. Okay, the next word we have 修一修. This character, it has a 人, a person on the side, and then it also has the 3 lines for hair. But the character itself means like repair, so it doesn't always have to do with hair. It can do with like if your toilet is broken, you need to 修一修, you can show the toilet as well. But if you just want a little trim and you don't want to do anything drastic, you want to keep the same hairstyle, you can tell them 你就要修一修, or you could also say 修一下. And they'll know exactly what you mean, but they might also ask you some questions, which we'll talk about in a... Okay, the next one we have 剪头发. 剪, this character, if you see in the very bottom, there is a knife, a 刀子 on the bottom. So, and on the top, it's 钱, like 以前的钱. And that 钱 is there just, it's called a 口音字. So it means like, it helps with knowing how to pronounce the word, because 钱 跟 剪, they both have that IAN at the end. You'll kind of hear me talk more about that as these lessons go on, but if you don't quite understand what I'm talking about, that's okay, don't worry. Okay, so yeah, 剪头发, just know there's a knife there, so it means to cut. So you can, if you want to cut paper, you can 剪这个 paper, okay? So yeah, 剪头发 would be with a scissors, and you just, yeah, 剪头发. So you can tell him, 我要剪头发, 要修一修, okay? Next one we have 洗头. 洗头, if you go to a Taiwan salon, they do an amazing job at washing your hair. Because number one, the sinks that they have you lay down in are so comfortable. Like in the States, whenever I would get my hair washed, it kind of hurts your neck and it's like awkward. But in Taiwan, no, that's not the case. And they spend such a long time massaging your scalp with the shampoo. It is amazing. And then they also tape like paper here so that you don't get your makeup messed up. And they also give you a neck massage and shoulder massage. If you live in Taiwan and haven't gone to a salon before, you need to go just for the hair washing experience. So the guy will say, like, if you're sitting there and you talk about what you want to do with your hair, he'll say, okay, 那现在我们洗头. Okay, so then you know you got to get up and they're going to go wash your hair. Okay, next one we have 染, like 染头发. If you want to dye your hair, you need to use that word. Now let's look at the character. There is a tree at the bottom of that character, and there is also water on top. So I'm not 100% as far as the history on this character, but I kind of feel like, because also this 染 also means to catch a disease. It is the same 染 in pollution, like 污染. So I'm feeling like some trees can catch diseases, okay? And if they catch a disease, it can often be due to like moisture or whatever. So there's the 3 water droplets, and like it's also just kind of means like polluting, right? So if you put dye into your hair, you're putting a foreign substance into your hair, and it's almost like polluting your hair in a sense. I don't believe that. Like, I love it when people dye their hair. I'm just trying to think like why they would use this character. So yeah, that's why, and it's an easy way to remember it. But so if you want to get your hair dyed, you would talk to him and say 我要染头发. Okay, I think in the when we were talking about the vocabulary earlier, I think I was saying 染, which is wrong. You should say 染. I always have a hard time saying that word, 染, like R-A-N, 染头发. Anyways, next one is 亮点. 亮点 is your highlights. So if you want to get highlights, they call it 亮点 because 亮 means bright, right? And my highlights, I guess, are natural, but I do have a few. Like, here's one and here's one. 亮点. So 点 just means spot, right? And 亮 is bright. So if you want some bright spots in your hair, you can talk about that, which I have always been scared to get 亮点 in Taiwan. I've done it once and my hair turned blue. They just don't have the right chemicals for people with like white people hair, especially hair like that's fine like mine, because my hair is super fine. But I do like my guy now. He's from Australia, so I may try next time to get a little bit of 亮点. But it is kind of expensive in Taiwan. But yeah, if you guys have a hair designer, 如果你们有一个设计师 in Taiwan and he's good at doing 亮点, then let me know. Never know. All right, next one. Okay, let's talk about this next word, 护发. 护发 again is like a deep conditioning treatment. The 护发 I've had in Taiwan, I've had quite a few, and they're all different. It depends on the person. Some just give you this like super nice treatment, and then they put your hair under this humidifier thing, and I don't know. I think it's supposed to open up the hair cuticles and then like absorb this treatment. Others use like this steam thing, and they blow the steam on your hair in some chemical way, I don't know, and it's supposed to have the hair absorb the moisture. I'm still blown away by 护发 because I don't really know if they even work or not, but they are kind of fun to get, and my hair is always super dry, so I need all the help I can get. But anyways, let's look at Hu, this character, Hu. This is the same character to like protect, like 保护. So like a mother would 保护 her children, protect her children. Now if we dissect this character, on the top it has grass, okay, and under that there is this little character thing, which actually means a bird. Okay, this is a certain type of bird, I can't remember, like a sparrow or something. Okay, and the bottom of that is like a hand. Whenever you see that little yo, that means a hand. So just think about like a bird that's hiding under like some grass kind of a thing for shelter. Okay, so he's taking care of himself, he's protecting himself. So for us, if we want to protect our hair and moisturize our hair, we need a 护发. And 护发s, they vary in price as well. You can talk to your local 设计师 to see how much money their 护发 is. Also, if you want to buy a deep conditioning like mask or something, you can also get some 护发乳, and that also is called conditioner too. It depends on like what you get, but yeah, if you want conditioner, that's called 护发乳. 护发乳, yeah. All right, next one, let's go to 烫. Next one, we have 烫卷. Tang means to perm your hair, okay? It can also mean something very hot that's a liquid or a food. So if you are sipping your coffee and it's super hot and you don't even know it, and you're like, oh, how tang. It's like, oh, it's super hot. Now, that's the same character for tang, 头发. As far as why, I think it's because they use chemicals, obviously, to tang your hair. And it kind of does not scald your hair, but, you know, you get the point. It's using chemicals. And at the bottom of that character, there is a fire. So whenever there's a fire, it means, like, hot. Of course, when you get a perm, it doesn't get hot, but there are chemicals involved. So I think that's what they were thinking when they put that character with the concept of perming your hair. Now, Dren. Dren is really fun. On the left hand side of Dren, this character, it has a hand. And so, you know, when you curl something, you often, like if you were to do this, you're using your hands to roll it up, right? And my hair is too short to even do it. But yes, like that, you're using your hands, right? Now, Dren. On the right hand side of this is Dren. And Dren is a scroll back in time. And you can even see on the bottom of that character, there's like that little curly Q. So like, you know, they didn't have books back then, they had scrolls. And so when they would open up the scroll, that's how they would read. So that is why that character is the way it is. I hope that made sense. Next one is 烫直, and basically it's the same thing. We got 烫, and then we have straighten. So a lot of people call it getting your hair chemically straightened. I don't think having like a straight perm is a thing. Like I don't think we call it that, but we do have a thing called chemically straightened, and it's the same thing in Taiwan. They have that. Some people have a little bit wavier hair, and so they want it chemically straightened, and I guess they say it helps with getting frizziness, which I have, but I need to stay away from chemicals as much as possible. Okay, next one we have is 层次. This character is so important because when you get a haircut, sometimes you want layers, sometimes you don't want layers. And for the longest time when I was living in Taiwan, I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to say like, I want a little bit of layers or I don't want any layers. Especially like with me, I like my hair to all be the same length. And if they just, you know, instinctively, they'll chop me off some layers. For a while, I had like some layers with such a difference that I hated it, and it's just very important to know this word. So you can tell them 我要层次 or 我要一点点的层次，大概这么大. Or you could say 我不要层次, okay? And hopefully your 设计师 will respect you for that and will respect your wishes. Because sometimes they just go crazy and do whatever they want to do. And you have to be the boss of them because it's your hair that you have to live with, not theirs. Okay, so let's look at the breakdown of this character. 层. There is a door, okay? And then there's like a building inside. So you often talk about 层. You often use that word when you're talking about floors in a building. Like, 这个大楼有5层. Okay, this building has 5 floors. Or 这个大楼有10层. This building has 10 floors. So 层 just means like, you know, this. And 层次, your 次 means how many times, okay? So you can have layers. You can say 我有很多层次. Boom, 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 boom. Like, here's a layer, here's a layer, here's a layer, here's a layer. So even with like a book, we don't really say this, but this is an example. These pages in the book, they are all 层次, okay? If you're doing your nails and you need to do different coats, like one coat of base layer, one coat of color, one coat of top coat. Those are also 层次. They are layers of nail polish on your fingers, okay? So that's what a layer is, just one on top of the other. So with hair, if you have 层次, it could be like, you know, lower here, here, and then have them cut. Some 层次in Taiwan, I feel like, are so extreme, and I don't want you to get that if you don't want it. So please remember this character. It's so important. 层次. Okay, next character we have Liu Hai. Honestly, I never learned this word in a textbook, of course, so I've looked it up as far as why it is called Liu Hai. And Liu Hai is like, it basically is like waves, not even waves, just something about the ocean. So I'm thinking like Liu Hai, if you have like sideways bangs, it almost is kind of like a flowy, like ocean thing. But of course, Liu Hai can also be like, you know, if they're like, if they're like this. Oh, maybe that's why. Because like when they're like this, hold on. I can't do it. It's almost like a wave, right? Like, and people love to take that. The new trend these days is to take like a roller with those, you know, like the textured rollers, and like put it in their hair like this and leave it when they're like at a coffee shop, and then they pull it out and then their hair is like got that perfect So maybe that's why it's called Liu Hai, like a wave like that. That's got to be it. Okay, so yeah, if you want Liu Hai, you can talk about that with your 设计师. Next one is 绑起来. The reason why I put this here in this vocabulary list is because for me, I like to 绑起来 my hair. I like to put it up. So it was very important for me when I got my hair cut yesterday was that I wanted it long enough for all of my hairs to still be able to 绑起来. But I didn't want it to be too long. So I wanted it just the right amount, just the right shortness where I could still 绑起来. So if you are the same, or you just need to talk about somehow about putting your hair back, you can use that word 绑起来. Okay? Let's look at this character, 绑起来, this 绑. 绑 on the left hand side, it has a radical of silk. And they would use silk, like a long strip of silk, to actually, I think their hair was like up high like this, right? In the ancient Chinese times. And then they would make like a ball like this. They loved those little buns, right? And then they would take that silk ribbon and wrap it around their hair. So that was the bang. Okay, and you could also, wow, look at that. You could also take a ribbon and like wrap it around, I don't know, something to wrap it up. So that would be 绑起来. Okay? Okay, next one, 吹风机. 吹 means to blow air. 风, of course, is air, and 机 is a machine. So 吹风机 is a machine that blows air. Now, 吹为什么, why does it have the 口 and the, I forget what that's called, 前, I think. Because the square for 口 obviously has to do with your mouth. So when you blow air like this, you are, of course, using your mouth. And the right-hand side of that character actually means this. It means like opening your mouth. And it may even mean yawning, like, it may mean yawning. So those two together, right before you blow air, don't you go like this? So that is just the character that's written there, okay, for 吹. And then 风, of course, you guys know that 风, is air and G is the machine. So I'm not going to get into those. I hope you know that already. I'm lazy. Okay, next one we have 夹指. I feel like you will never ever find this in a textbook. 夹 means to press something together. So like when you have a hair straightener, it has two pieces, right? And it 夹 here and pulls down. Another thing for 夹 is like a hair clip. Let's see if I have one. Or a bobby pin here. These are 发夹because there's two parts, right? And then it kind of squeezes the hair. So that's 夹. 指 obviously means straight. So to 夹直 just means to take a straightener and it goes like this and it straightens it. So that's like after your hairstylist has cut your hair and maybe blow dried it, and he says, 你要不要夹直? Like, do you want me to straighten it? Or he might say, 还是要卷. If you want your hair to be curly, he can curl it with a curling iron. If you want it to be straight, he can 夹直. That was what I did yesterday, was 他帮我夹直. Okay, he helped me straighten it. Okay, let's look at the next word. Oh, that's it. That's all the words. So that's 15 words. I hope that these words were useful to you. And now we will go ahead and make some sentences. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and make like a skit for you guys because I think this is a really good way to practice your listening skills, your 听力. And if you have any questions, just ask below, okay? And I think I might actually write some Chinese subtitles on the bottom so you can follow along. Okay, so it will be from me starting to make an appointment all the way down to finishing up and having him style my hair and straightening it, okay? So I'm going to talk to myself and I'll say, 今天我想剪头发，那我应该要先打电话给我的设计师。叮叮叮叮叮叮 ，ring ring 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 ring。喂，你好，我想问一下，今天有没有时间剪头发？我可不可以预约？可以，好，那。今天4点半好不好？可以吗？4点吗？好，应该4点可以。OK， 好，谢谢。那4点见。好，拜拜。耶，我刚刚预约好了。OK，then after I 预约，我会可能骑脚踏车到那边，然后我到了哈，所以我坐在那个椅子上 ，I sit on the chair。然后我的设计师来了，嗨，你好，好久不见。对，今天我就想修一修，我不想剪太多。Okay, then he asks me, do you want any layers this time? 不要，我不要任何的层次。Okay, 然后and then he'll say, okay, let's first wash our hair. 好，那我们先洗头吧。Okay, so I get up out of my chair, we go wash my hair, and it's super 舒服. And then we come back and he says, do you want to dye your hair? 你今天要不要染头发？我说我不要染头发，我觉得现在这个头发的颜色应该还可以了吧？我也不要任何的亮点 ，because I don't trust Taiwanese people dyeing my hair, but we won't tell him that. Okay, next one. Let's say I feel like my hair is a little dry. 今天我也想加一下一个护发 ，and then he says, "Okay, 没有问题." So I get a 护发 as well. And then he asks me, Alex, why is your hair a little bit curly at the ends? 为什么你的头发在这边会有一点卷起来 ？And I say, 因为以前我有烫头发，我有烫卷。And then he says, oh, no wonder. 难怪。Okay, next up. 他在剪 when he's cutting, he says, 那你的刘海呢？你的刘海要到这边吗？还是你想要短一点？ And then I tell him, 我的刘海我都不知道，随便给你弄。Okay, I'll say, I don't know what to do with this little bang part. I'll just give it to you and let you do it. And then I say, 但是有一件事情很重要，我还是想要绑起来，所以我不要太短，像这边前面如果还可以绑起来，我就会很高兴。 所以在这边绑起来就可以了。And he says, okay, 没有问题。Okay, next one. So then after he's done cutting, he's going to take the 吹风机 and 吹一吹，吹一吹。And then he says, 你要不要夹子 And I say, yes, 我需要。因为because that way it looks really sleek and modern. So he goes and 夹子我的头发。So that is that, and that's what happened. That's basically exactly what happened yesterday. If you guys live in Taipei and are afraid to get your hair cut, I can recommend you a guy. He lives in Shidayeshi. Well, his salon is in Shidayeshi. And he grew up, what am I talking about? He studied in Australia. He learned hair in Australia. And so he's used to doing like foreigners, people's hair. And yeah, I love him so much. He's really, really talented. He always does exactly what I tell him. So if you are wanting to try out a 设计师, I will link his, I think it's either like a Facebook or something below, and you guys can check him out. His name is Ryde, R-Y-D-E. All right, I hope you guys learned something today, and I hope this will give you some confidence if you are one of those living in Taiwan or China and you are afraid to get your hair cut like I was at one time. I hope this really helped because hair is so important to make us feel good. And if we're nervous about our hair, it just like ruins the whole experience. I want you guys to be able to go there, be confident, and feel good coming out. So I hope this helped. If you like this video, if you learned something new, please give us a thumbs up and follow me because there's so many more Chinese lessons to come. All right, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.